Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the latest Hurricane Tracker app video update recorded Sunday, September 17th, 2017 around 10 p.m. Well, once again, the Eastern Pacific as well as the Atlantic basins are very busy. Although the majority of this video is going to focus on Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Jose, I will mention a few other systems out there. We have Hurricane Otis, a Category 2 hurricane here in the open waters of the Eastern Pacific. It'll be moving to the west harmlessly over open ocean and will be weakening. We have Tropical Storm Norma here, where we have some tropical storm watches up for the southern portions of the Baja Peninsula. This system is going to track a little more west than previously thought. So there won't be any major impacts for these southern areas of the Baja, but there could be some rain and some tropical storm force winds. So keep an eye on that if you're on the Baja Peninsula. And we have Tropical Depression Lee, which was a very strong tropical wave that came off the coast of Africa a few days ago. It is weakened into a depression and will continue moving west-northwest and should become a remnant low here over the next couple of days in the open Atlantic. And then, of course, we have two Category 1 hurricanes this evening. We have Hurricane Jose, which we'll talk about first, and then Hurricane Maria approaching the eastern Caribbean. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop on Hurricane Jose. You can see it is a large hurricane. It has that comma shape. It is very well developed. And you can see, I'm going to put the water vapor loop into motion here. There's some dry air that's being pulled in into the circulation from the southwest side, and that is keeping Jose from strengthening any further, which is a good thing. So the dry air here, and there's also some wind shear, which we'll show you in just a couple of moments, is also affecting the storm, some southwesterly wind shear. So we don't anticipate Jose to get much stronger, should remain Category 1 hurricane as it moves towards the north here, well offshore from the outer banks of North Carolina. Over the next few days, it'll be moving to the north, and then eventually we'll be turning a little more to the northeast, east, and then south as it gets blocked by a ridge of high pressure to its north, which we'll talk about in a little more depth here in a few moments. But as the hurricane moves north, the wind field of especially the tropical storm force winds, which you see here in orange, this is forecasted to expand a little bit, and we could see tropical storm force winds scraping up against the coastline from Delaware up through New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. And therefore, the National Hurricane Center has issued tropical storm watches all the way from the Delaware coast, all the way through Cape Cod and southeastern Massachusetts. If you're in these areas, you could see wind gusts over 45, 50 miles per hour. And tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch area by Tuesday. And rainfall accumulations from eastern Long Island to southern Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, including Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, will be about 3 to 5 inches. Prepare for power outages. Stock up on some extra water. Maybe fill up your car, with a full tank of gas. Get a little bit of extra cash out of the ATM. Some non-perishable foods, as there could be at least some sporadic power outages, especially as we get into southeastern Massachusetts, Cape Cod, Nantucket, Rhode Island on Wednesday afternoon, where the storm will make the closest pass here to land areas. And then once Jose turns to the east, it's going to likely weaken due to cooler ocean temperatures, which we'll also show you in just a moment, and kind of just meander and linger out here. And what Jose does is going to help determine the ultimate path of Maria, which once again we'll talk about here in just a few moments. But right now, Jose is moving to the north at 9 miles an hour. It's 9 miles per hour. It's a Category 1 hurricane with winds at 90 miles per hour, and the center is located about 315 miles southeast of Cape Hatteras. And I do want to note, while I'm up on the screen, the cone of uncertainty, the models have been shifting to the west a little bit with each run. It is still possible that Jose tracks down the west side of this cone. Obviously, that would bring more impacts here to interior New England and parts of the mid-Atlantic. So if you're up in this area, keep an eye on the forecast, monitor Jose pretty closely as there is still some wiggle room as to exactly where the center will track. But again, this will be a large hurricane. Hurricane force winds will stay offshore, but at least tropical storm force winds will impact the coast. And how far west Jose tracks will determine the extent of the tropical storm force winds. Our next hurricane, Hurricane Maria, has strengthened very quickly today and also into a Category 1 hurricane. And you can see there's a lot of cold cloud tops, which means there is deep convection that has been firing and sustaining over the center. And it is also a large hurricane, and it is moving off towards the west-northwest. Before I talk a little bit more about Maria, let me go back to this slide here. I probably should have had this a couple of slides back, but I wanted to show you the southwesterly wind shear here that is affecting Jose, running about 20 to 30 knots or so. Because it is a hurricane, it's able to fight some of this wind shear off. But again, the wind shear and the dry air is keeping the system in check at the moment. And you can see the northern extent of the warm waters here as I've outlined. So 28 degrees Celsius water is ocean temperatures in the low 80s, about 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And then up here off the coast of Massachusetts, water temperature is about 20 degrees Celsius, about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's a 20 degree drop, about a 15 degree drop in the temperature here of the ocean surface. And that's going to help Jose weaken, like I said, to a tropical storm pretty quickly once it passes east of Virginia. All right, back to Maria. Maria, as I stated, is a hurricane. Winds are 80 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 15. It's located about 125 miles east-northeast of Barbados. We do have a lot of hurricane and tropical storm watches and warnings in effect. We do have hurricane warnings in effect for Guadeloupe, Dominica, St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat, and Martinique. And we have some hurricane watches in effect further west for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, Saba, St. Eustatius, and Anguilla. And likely either late tonight or by tomorrow morning, we will also have hurricane watches in effect, most likely for Puerto Rico as well. Throughout the day today, Maria has strengthened. This is the latest microwave imagery here on the right side. Whenever you see these deep red colors, that means that the storm is better structured. And this is what the microwave satellite pass does. It looks like the structure of the hurricane. So it looks like it is developing a western eye wall, and that should continue. And in fact, as it moves through the islands, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting this to be a Category 2 hurricane, and then shortly a Category 3 hurricane on approach to Puerto Rico, unfortunately. And at this time, it does appear that you guys in Puerto Rico could sustain a direct hit, unfortunately, from Maria as a Category 3 or maybe even a little stronger hurricane. Irma did pass to your north, the area of the strongest winds, but it does appear that Maria is going to track just a little bit farther south than Irma did, and could also even skirt the northern coast of the Dominican Republic around midweek into Wednesday and Thursday. So if you're in this area, make preparations now. You will likely be under hurricane watch soon. This storm is strengthening and headed your way. Here's a look at the latest wind forecast from the National Hurricane Center as of their 5 p.m. advisory today. It does appear that the worst of the winds, the core of the system, will likely pass over Dominica and Guadeloupe. The red shaded area is hurricane force winds 74 miles per hour and plus. That also includes you guys here in Puerto Rico and parts of the Virgin Islands and the eastern parts of the Dominican Republic. Now, if the forecast were to shift a little bit more towards the north, then of course the area of hurricane force winds could move further north into the northern and northeastern islands here in the Caribbean. So definitely a high impact event. Again, make all final preparations. They should be completed no later than Tuesday p.m. as Maria is heading your way. So the big question everybody wants to know, what's going to happen with Maria long term? And it's the same answer to the age-old question that we always get. It does appear right now there's a large spread in the guidance envelope. This is a look at the afternoon European ensemble run. We have many tracks going out into the open Atlantic, and we do have some that are bringing this system to the United States coast. So right now, we're talking at the end of these points. This is a 10-day forecast here. So we're going to be talking about Maria for the next week to week and a half. This is the European ensemble on the left. Here's the latest GFS ensemble. It's a little more tightly clustered, but most of the GFS ensemble members are offshore. But again, that doesn't mean this can't change. Again, these are 7 to 10 day forecast. And the primary driver, believe it or not, is going to be what Jose does here off of the northeastern United States coast. If Jose lingers, there's going to be a building ridge of high pressure to the north of Jose over the northeastern United States. If Jose is still lingering out here as Maria is moving towards the northwest, this could help keep the ridge fairly weak and would easily give Maria a path out into the open Atlantic. So Jose could be the saving grace, believe it or not, for the eastern United States seaboard. That's one scenario. Scenario number two is if Jose were to weaken altogether or completely move out of the picture and this high pressure ridge is able to build in stronger, that could help push Maria generally towards the southeastern or the mid-Atlantic United States coast. Obviously, with this being 7 to 10 days away, there's no way to know how strong Jose will be, where Jose will be located. Will it be located over here as a remnant low? Will it be a strong hurricane moving out into the open Atlantic? Will it still be kind of milling around here, creating just enough of a weakness to help pull Maria from south to north? Or will that ridge build in strongly? We just don't know. So the potential is there for Maria to move out into the open Atlantic, and there is still a potential that Maria could get close to the United States. So putting all this together here at the Hurricane Tracker app, we issue our long-range outlook. And this is the cone as we see it today. Let me turn on my cursor here. So Maria could track as far east as Bermuda. And we also can see a track closer towards Florida and the southeastern United States again here. And again, this is within the next 10 days. And these are the corresponding percentages. Obviously, a high chance of impacts here over the next few days in the north and northeastern Caribbean, including Puerto Rico. Increasing chances for Hispaniola. A medium chance of impacts here in the southeast Bahamas. And then beyond that point, we're just unsure as to, is there going to be a weakness and Maria tracks out here, or will the ridge build in and push Maria more towards the west-northwest? So right now, we see about a 3 to 8% chance of the United States coast being affected. Higher percentages further up north the coast here. So again, these are pretty low chances 10 days out. It's not zero, but this basically means that we have to watch it. We can't take our eyes off this hurricane. It will be strong and powerful, just like Irma. And we will update this every day in the Hurricane Tracker app as new data comes in. Finally, for those of you in the tropical storm watch here for Jose, our best recommendation is to go to WEATHER.GOV, put in your zip code, and you can read about the tropical storm watches and the local statements put out by your local National Weather Service office to see exactly what type of impacts may be expected. If you have the Hurricane Tracker app, you can go to Jose's storm section, click on local forecast, put in your zip code. You'll get the same information in a much more friendly mobile format from the National Weather Service. And new to the app, if you click on this audio icon here next to Jose's name, it'll give you the latest audio update on the hurricane from the Hurricane Tracker app. And we'll try to update that as often as we can as new data comes in. But we appreciate you tuning in for the latest video update here at the Hurricane Tracker app. If you don't have the Hurricane Tracker app and you want to track Jose or Maria, just point your browser to www.hertracker.com. And we have versions for the iPhone, iPad, Android, as well as a web version, which you can view on your computer through any browser. Thank you so much for watching our latest video update, and we hope you have a good evening. And we'll have another video update on these two hurricanes as conditions warrant. Thanks for watching.